Hey folks, Anahata Graceland here with Royal Frenchel and the Talking Dog show. I'm very heartfelt right now. We have a wonderful guest today who has is going to help us share a personal story along with some other really fabulous statistics I'm going to share with you on the healing power of dogs. And I'm always talking about how we've developed our relationships with dogs over a 3,000 year period. And in that, we have breathed each other's breath. We have looked in each other's eyes. We have slept together. We have worked together. We have hunted together. We have, raised our children together. So many things. And when you do that over such an extended period with species interacting all the time, obviously we develop DNA. We develop complementary ways of being that support the health and welfare of each other. And so I'm going to introduce or Arturo here, who's with us
He's
and
going to
always
join us
with
in
us.
like about 10 minutes, so
Oh,
we can
good.
start with the
Okay, good. So um, uh, we're going to also have him share his background. He's quite an extraordinary fellow. So let's just talk for a minute. And I've got some material here, some statistics here that I think are pretty extraordinary. Um, when a person has a heart attack, there is a very high chance of some other residual effect occurring, another heart attack, um, different types of medical conditions that can occur after a heart attack. And a person that gets a dog has a reduced risk of death or any post hospitalization at all of 65% versus people who don't have a dog. Now, listen, folks, you take Tylenol, you take ibuprofen, we do all these things that have like minimal effects on our lives. Okay. I mean, having a dog is the most remarkable supplement that you can give your life. Strokes, there's a much lower mortality rate, 27 to 33% lower risk for those who have dogs. That's incredible, really incredible. Again, those statistics are what we call significant. They are way beyond the norm. There are so many tests and medications in the medical world that don't give half that. And yet they write prescriptions out for us and do things for us that make a difference, again, in this minuscule way and can harm other organs, can have, effects on us that have nothing to do with what we take them for, but can harm other systems of our body, slow it down, make it difficult to digest things, or harm our liver. Okay. All canine, all cause mortality, period. So like for all causes of of dying, right? There is an overall increased survival rate of 24%. So people with dogs live longer for the conditions that they hold, that they have. I'm a great example of that. I've lived with dogs for my entire life, but I've raised dogs for over 50 years. And folks, I've been quite challenged. I was born without antibiotics, of course, but born without uh, antibodies. And I had to develop them, and they developed extremely slowly with all sorts of support through year 8 in my life. And right around then, I had a little boost in my immune system, and I ended up with more, but I was never quite right. I suffered a brain disease. I died twice. I had the German measles an unruly amount of times, and most people say that's impossible. You only get it once and then it's over. Well, that didn't happen with me because without an immune system, you can get it again and again. And I did, and I was at great risk because of it. And I had a brain disease that was very significant, a certain type of rare encephalitis that I suffered when I was quite young. So it went on and on. And the doctors kept remarking all my life about how remarkable I was, like, and no one expected me to make it to 40 to 50 to 60. And here I am in my 70s today, and I think I look okay, right? I mean, I'm doing okay. And yes, I've had a lot of surgeries. That's true. I mean, it doesn't take everything away, but let me tell you this, I survived. And not only did I survive, I'm capable. I have a young mind. I have a get-go, attitude. Dogs are remarkable sources of healing. It just simply is the truth. For pediatric cancer, it lowers distress and worry, and they are much more likely to do the treatments and the things they need to stay on track with their healing. And also for uh, adults who have cancer or suffer cancer. I don't want to go on forever here. I know Jon has joined us now and is ready to join us further. But I want to tell you, I'm putting together a program called Royal Frenchel Noble Canine Guardian Program for organizations and institutions. And there will be a page on the website within 2 weeks. And we're going to be going into organizations and sharing these statistics in cardiac units and cancer units and hospitals in general and places where patients suffered dementia and challenges with their senior lives and bodies. And so I'm very excited to hear Jon's sharing today. Don't forget, we're going to show puppies afterwards. And also, I just want to remind you about our wonderful thermos. I know I talk about it all the time. Don't forget, folks, I have stuff in it sometimes. This is one of them. I'm getting ready to go out after. And so I've got my water and stuff. You have two bowls. They're fabulous. One bowl for water, one bowl for whatever treat you want. And then of course you get to bond with your dog and drink at the same time. They're wonderful, wonderful tool. I have three. As a matter of fact, I got after Arturo yesterday and told him I want another one. I just don't want to have to go hunting for them. I want them where I do things. And so, yeah, so that's our thermos. You can look below and see the link for it on Amazon. We have a little Amazon store. I love the support. And also, don't forget to click like and subscribe below. We really appreciate that. We want to grow our community of dog lovers and share really good information with people. Anyone who would like a copy of my statistics that I put together, because I have really quite a lengthy and full report on it. And if you would like that, please feel free to ask for it. Just write me a quick note. We'll get it to you. All right. Okay, so
Right.
Arturo, I'm gonna say invite
Yeah.
Jon
Yeah.
and
And we also have our special guest Samantha as
yes,
here who's going to join in the conversation.
she's back.
She's actually here and has been having this whole experience here. So yeah, so Jon, just a light intro because he's going to share more about
Why
him.
don't you
But
put him on
yeah,
screen?
so Jon, come on. Hey there, Jon.
Jon,
Welcome, Jon. And
Hey, it's great to see you both. Thank you.
good to see you, love.
thanks for joining us. Can you introduce yourself and share a little bit about your background and what you're up to now?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first, Anahata and Arturo, it's great to see you. Samantha, it's good to meet you, and I appreciate the opportunity to share, and open to any questions as I'm joining you guys today. Jon Chung, I spent nearly 27 years in the military. My last assignment was out there near Joint Base Lewis McChord there in Washington. I just recently moved up to Bellevue. Been married to my lovely wife Jackie for coming on 23 years here on the 31st of August,
Who I love.
and we have a pretty large blended family. So I have a stepdaughter who's 38 years old, and she has two kids. I have a granddaughter who's about to be 21 at the end of this month, and a grandson who's 14. And then Jackie and I have a son, Brandon, who's 21, who is a college student at the University of Washington. Our paths crossed toward the end of my time in the military as I was transitioning out, and we have
Hey, Jon,
been.
John,
Sure.
before you go on to the transition, can you tell a little bit about, like, really, because you weren't just the average military person. Okay, let's face it. I mean, you were really in some really hefty positions in the military. Can you share?
Yeah,
I know some
sure.
of it is not shareable, but can you share a little bit
Yeah,
about that?
sure, sure. And I appreciate you asking. Those that serve a lot of times don't want to talk about themselves or their experience, but they'll share about the units they were in and those that they had served with. So, out of the 27 years, I spent a good amount of time. I was an infantry officer and spent a lot of times in both conventional and special operations units. Those special operations units that I spent time in were in Second and First Ranger Battalion, and then I did a lot of stuff in the Joint Special Operations community. That time, along with being in conventional light infantry and airborne units, I found myself just based on the timing of when I served, spending 5.5 years in combat in Iraq and Afghanistan. So that was a total of about 63 and a half months or so. I am also one of five children. There's three boys and two girls in my family. My two brothers are also in the service, and across all three of us, it's about 145 months of time in combat. I think what you're getting at is during my time frame where I spent majority of time, I spent probably over 100 months in some type of command position. So as a captain, as a company commander, as a major, as a company commander, or as a task force commander, responsible everything from doing village assessments, daylight patrols, to the time that I was serving in the special operations community where I was doing raids for high value targets. They were kill and capture missions.
Wow.
And I knew that it was, there was a amount of risk that was involved, but there's the way I looked at it is based on the responsibility and the capability and the experience of the units that I had served with. There was a responsibility to do the things that were required to help other organizations do a lot of the challenging stuff of building relationships, partnership capacity to create an environment of stability that allowed us to be able to transition and then be able to come back home.
Mhm.
And then the other thing I kind of put a bow on it is, we spent a lot of times away, and I think now as I'll talk to transition afterwards, you're starting to relearn what it is to kind of come back to normal life, and you get to know your family. It's kind of hard, to think when my son was younger that I missed, almost 5.5 years, or I did miss 5.5 years of his life. And so that was a lot of birthdays, there were weddings, anniversaries that I wasn't there for. And even when I was home, it was pretty difficult because I think mentally I was still over there thinking about the next time that I needed to go
Right.
back.
Mm.
So no, I appreciate you asking, and I'm open to share because as I kind of got toward the end of that, you when you're there, you think about the mission that you have to do, and you're doing it for the people that you love and those that are serving to the left and right of you. It's an honor to be part of the less than 1% that protects the 99. But then when you come back, a lot of times it's hard to share with those of the things that you're carrying around. Um, and the weight of the responsibility, and you're just thinking about, I need to go back until it's finished. And so a lot of times when it will end for all of us at some point. It's important to find a way that you're still surrounded with the people that you love and that you have the reputation, and know that you have the value set, and there's ways that you can experience emotions in a healthy manner so you can find the next chapter of your life.
Right. And that's quite a challenge. And I want to thank you for your service, John, really sincerely. I've just so appreciated both of you, in the times that we've met and been together. And I don't think people really realize in America today, it's different than when I was young. Everybody was very aware of what our veterans did, of what our military go through when I was young. Today, people aren't. And it's a different world today when you come back. And
Yeah.
I just want to say I'm really aware and really grateful. And wow, lots of things you've seen that you hope no one ever does, and lots of things that we have to do that no one ever wants to have to do.
Mhm.
So Yeah. So then you found Royal Frenchel.
That's right. That's right. So it's we've had dogs, for a good portion of our lives. And when I say our lives, Jackie and our lives together, um, we had Labrador retrievers. I kind of thought that, we needed to have a bigger dog. I kind of thought maybe a little bit for protection if you have a bigger dog. And then the other thing was is, we were a pretty active household, and so I said, hey, it'd be good to take a dog hiking and running and doing all these things. And, our last lab, Charlie, lived about 13, 14 years, very healthy. And it was just unfortunate. One time, we took her to the vet, and the vet told us, she's in incredible amount of pain. And then we didn't understand it because I said, she looks fine. And she said, you see how she's doing this? She sees that. And one of the things that I'll share is, in the last year and a half or so while I was transitioning out, I'd say a year and a half, 3 years time frame, really. Um, but I was finishing up one of my last assignments, and right as I was moving into command, we had got some unfortunate news and found out that my wife, Jackie, was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and she was given a 60% chance to live a year. I tie this back to my dog Charlie. We have sat and thought about this, that every time Jackie was having some symptoms that she was dealing with, and she was just so exhausted laying on the couch, our dog Charlie was just, and a lot of people have shared similar experiences. They just have this innate ability to understand that their owner or their companion is suffering in some aspect of it. And so Charlie would just sit there and just watch Jackie and kind of follow her all around the house, even when Jackie was, exhausted and laying down, and just watching her. And so Jackie is going on 3 years cancer free. So I'll get that out of the way. Not without an incredible struggle and amount of strength that she's had. But yeah, we're
You and
incredibly
you
blessed.
and you, sir, because you did depth, study. I know you went through, you stopped everything. You went through all the kinds of research on cancer, and you
Yeah,
changed your lives together enormously. And you made that difference, sir. I mean, along with, I'm sure, people that supported you in the medical profession. But
yeah,
wow,
yeah,
John, what you did is remarkable. And what you put together for anyone, that has cancer, how you put it together for Jackie was phenomenal. And it's quite a story. I hope at some
yeah,
point you can share that story with the world. Not today necessarily. I don't mean to
yeah,
put you on the spot there, but
yeah,
I think it's a really good thing to do at some point. And I know it's a lot of work. So
yeah.
anyway,
No, no,
on.
I appreciate it. It's I always share that your network is your net worth, and at that time in my life, and my and Jackie's life, that we were blessed to have the right family, friends, medical support, loved ones to help us,
Yeah.
go through that.
Hmm.
And as things were kind of all transitioning, right? Jackie had just been declared after about a year and a half of being no evidence of disease, but we still knew we had a long road to go, because you want to get to that 5 year mark of being cancer free. We were all transitioning. So at that time in my large family, my daughter had moved out with her kids, and she was moving on by herself into another apartment out in Stellacombe. My son was transitioning to the University of Washington, and Jackie and I were essentially now going to be empty nesters. And it was really weird. Again, right? Dogs have this innate, just sense about them. And the day that Jackie and I, had started to go back out in public after she had started to kind of be on the mend of being cancer free, we came back one night, and then that's when our dog Charlie had, a tremendous amount of seizures. I think the total was 12 or 13. I had to take her to the emergency room, and that's when they made the determination that, hey, it was time to put her down. That also, right, is having a companion like that, and loving, something, and being a part of your family for 13 years, and you just see the pictures. Like Brandon was, only 3, 4 years old, and he's carrying this now 100-pound lab. At that time was a puppy in his backpack, like, Luke Skywalker carrying Yoda. And it was just knowing the amount of times, right, that I had gone through all those deployments, and Charlie was a part of that. And so, Jackie and I had made that determination because it was so difficult, right? Being in the room and watching Charlie take her last breath, and Brandon was with me. It was really, really difficult. We just kind of said, hey, we were not going to have dogs again because the experience was so difficult. And then one day, like I guess all husbands should, right? And companions, they listen. And sometimes your loved one throws an idea out that you just kind of catch and hold on, right? Whether it's something they want for a special occasion or they're thinking about it. And one time she was like, you know what? If we ever got another dog, I would just love to have a little dog, someone I could take around, travel with. Not that I didn't love Charlie, but it was really, really hard to take a lab everywhere with you. And I would really like a tiny French bulldog. But I started doing some research, and there was a lot of incredible health challenges that they had by looking at the size that she wanted. And as I did my research, I came across Royal Frenchels and Anahata and Arturo over there, and then we reached out, and then that's when the journey began. And the story that Anahata shares, about her daughter and what they went through and her experience with dogs and how impactful they were, it really touched us. And so it gave us the confidence to go back and check out again. And so we came across, our first one, and his at that time, I think his name was Paxton, but we changed his name to John Wick when we picked
John
him
Wick.
home. And that's who I'm holding now. And
Aw.
it's always like, we love him all, but he's so good looking, he's so calm, in demeanor. And really what we found is like he was just you know, the right thing that we needed in our lives to help us go through transition, to heal, and everything we're going. And it's like when you have like the perfect dog you've been looking for, what's make it even better by going with a second one. So we ended up picking up Nikita, and then we ended up then later on, the long story is we ended up having all four that we have now, and I will show them as they rotate out, but my man's being
Folks,
a my,
let me just say this, folks. On Zoom, everything looks bigger in front of us. So John Wick is actually not that big, but
no.
looks a lot bigger because he's in front of John. So just
Mhm.
FYI. Yeah, he's a little mighty.
Yeah, he's yeah, and he's maybe 12 pounds, 11 pounds. Yeah, 12. He's 12 pounds, and
Aw.
he's awesome. So again, we love dogs, but they were never on our furniture, never sleep in our bed, never go on all these trips. These guys get everything. They love it. I think they enjoy living in Bellevue now more than me. In fact, we have some folks that are doing some landscaping. They're installing some nice turf underneath our deck. It looks like Top Golf underneath on my deck, which is where they're going to be there, a little recreational activities. So when they go outside and they have a nice little area. But no, we were incredibly blessed. We're so thankful that we met Anahata and Arturo, and what these Royal Frenchels have done. And the same kind of thing, I can be pretty upset, and a guy, coming from the career that I've had, and the demons and the things that I've carried. These guys just know when I'm in a mood. And especially my man here, he'll just come up and he literally will give you a hug. And it's just like, and sometimes he's staring at you, and it's almost sometimes they stare at you, and I was telling my wife, I'm like, does he have human tears? It's like he has human tears,
It
you
is.
know?
It is.
And
Mine
he
does the
just
same thing.
yeah, he just senses it, and sometimes he looks at you and he
And
knows.
John, when you look at each other, you're producing oxytocin. I don't know if
Yeah,
you know that, but when a dog and a human look at each other, they start producing oxytocin in the human,
yeah.
which is your stress buster. It's the thing that brings your blood pressure down, your heart rate even, and really reduces stress chemically in your body. It's quite amazing.
Yeah, it's the feel good chemical, as they say, right?
Yeah, right,
Yeah,
right.
the love chemical. And so yeah, he's my man is he's good looking everywhere you go, as
Thank
you guys
you.
have mentioned, right? They're going to be superstars. So I'll be walking all three or four of them at one time, and someone will just stop in their vehicle and be like, "Oh my God, what breed is that? They're so good
Aw,
looking. How you doing that?" So, but yeah, let me show them the rest. Oh, he is and just Jackie's reminded me, he is almost 2 years old now. And so 11 pounds. And yeah, look at my man. You
He's
know, he's a good looking boy right
oh
there.
beautiful.
my God.
Right. So I'll show you guys Nikita unless you have any other
Wish he wasn't
questions as I'm
fixed.
telling it.
I wish he wasn't fixed.
That's the
Oh my
breeder's
God.
comment.
Every time I look at him, I go, darn. Oh my God.
Good man.
Yeah. Yeah, this is my baby girl right here. This is Nikita.
Look at her.
She
Oh,
is she's how old?
It's one of Sasha's babies.
Year in March. She was a year in March. So yeah. She looks like everybody asks if she's a little Boston Terrier, because she's got
yeah.
the that look a little bit. But she's and the thing I love too is they all have their unique personalities, and they all know at some point if I'm in a mood, they all want to have their own attention. John Wick's the pack leader, but he's a silent leader. Nikita is the a little bit more territorial, but she knows when daddy's home, right? She wants definite time, right? And look at and she's even tinier. She's how much weight? 6 pounds? 6 pounds. She's 6 pounds. This little
Oh.
girl,
And when
right?
she gets older, it takes 3 years for a Royal Frenchel to hit their full maturity. They don't get taller or longer. She won't get any of that, but she will beef out, right? As you
That's
can
right.
see with
That's
John
right.
Wick, like John is starting John Wick is starting to beef out now. I could see it,
Yeah.
him. And she'll do the same thing. And
Yeah.
yeah. Aw.
She's a little sweetheart. She's
Beautiful boy.
daddy's girl. She's
Yeah.
daddy's girl. So, and then you got to see Furiosa. This is AKA Mongo. This is this is this is was supposed to be a super micro,
Yeah.
but
Oh, wow.
it's kind of like when Brandon was born. He was born early, and my wife would tell people that he was a preemie. I'm like, he was 6 pounds. He cannot tell people he's a preemie. So this is not the Zoom camera. This is
That's
my
right. This is Furiosa.
this is my big girl right here. Oh my goodness.
Oh,
But
oh,
she also, right?
Look at
She's
that face.
look at her face. Oh, she's so proud you're holding her right now.
yeah, she
Totally
is
proud.
Looks like a mini.
she is the best. Like if you want somebody to snuggle with, like a human, like you
Oh,
sit down, she will be the big spoon, little spoon. She doesn't care. She just she just wants to be with you, and it's so funny. It's like when she was younger, and she's less than a year, but it's like she doesn't know the size of her body. She still thinks she's the size of everybody else because I have that picture when we first came and we saw her and she fit in the palm of my hand.
oh
But
my.
yeah, she is I mean, she's gorgeous. She's gorgeous, and oh yeah, she is definitely my most active child. She's the one that needs the most attention,
Oh,
right? And she needs the most love, she has like endless energy. It doesn't matter. And
oh,
she's also the most conscientious on like if she doesn't do something, if she has an accident, she feels bad about it, but she's the first one that wants to come back. And it's so funny because she looks at everybody else and she's got they all like can hop up and fit in the arms, and she wants the same thing. And I have to bend down so I don't pull a hamstring or my lower back because
oh my.
she is solid.
Yeah, she's
She
got that
is
muscle
solid.
weight, boy, of a bulldog, right?
Oh yeah, she
Yeah,
is solid. And she is the protector of the group too.
good.
She is. She is. but you can see now they're all like, this is the life. Like during the Jackie and I work in the other room in my office, and they're all just, chilling out, laying on the couch, enjoying the, whether it's sunbathing or not, and they've been great. And so this is why I kind of talk about, we always thought, right, hey, having one was great for us, for our mental health, for you reconnecting. We had some, challenges like any family does with kids, but bring them in. Like now my kids want to come and spend time with us, but it's really to spend time with the dogs, you know?
I hear that all the time. I know what you mean.
That's funny.
I mean,
Yeah.
when I go away, I have a tendency to come back early just because I miss the other dogs. I mean, I always take two with me, but it's like more fun to be home. It's
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, but look at this is a great face. Like
it is.
she
Yeah.
is good
And
looking
folks,
girl.
I have to tell you, over the years of Royal Frenchel, of course, I work very diligently to make sure the size is going to be the size that we tagged it, right? She's the first generation on a new mom. And she was so tiny, and the earmarks of a micro were there, a super micro were there. And so anyway, I've had that happen 4 times in 24 years. And each time, the people who had that happen ended up coming back and getting another dog. And we just switched out the pricing, made the difference. So anyway, I just thought I would mention that so
We,
you don't feel stuck. And it's
yeah,
so rare. It doesn't happen. I mean, 4 dogs in 24 years is
yeah.
not bad. The
We
chances.
we we couldn't switch her out. She was so we got like it's like a lucky penny,
Yeah.
right here.
And you have
That's right.
and you have all the options available for snuggle, right? If
Oh, yeah.
you want to tuck
That's
somebody in, go with
Yeah.
go with your tiniest one. If you want to snuggle on the bed and get a
Yeah.
big hug, you go for
that's right. So then now we got to show you the latest one that you guys
oh my
convinced my
Oh
wife
my
to
God.
go with.
I
This
want to
is
hear his personality is like.
Oh my. So this is the smallest of the group, and he thinks he's the biggest of the group.
This is Jon Snow, right?
Jon
Snow?
Snow.
Jon
Oh
Snow.
my God.
Yeah.
Jon Snow, and he could easily he is definitely mama's boy. So
Oh,
he's incredibly smart. So, the day we brought him home, we showed him where, this little pop-up pen that he would go. He goes all the time. Like you didn't have to train him. He was so smart, probably the fastest to be able to do this. And he was the youngest. But this guy right here, oh
Oh
yeah,
my God.
right? And he's the tiniest of the group. But don't let him fool you. He could be. We could have named him Scrappy Doo. And you can see he's got the little ear that's coming up, so it's perfect. Like he's reminiscent of Crypto, Superman's dog. And I think
oh
he
yeah.
probably saw the commercial and saw himself, and that's who he is. You know,
Oh,
because
well,
like these guys, he came in and it was so
fun.
funny is he was just like, holy cow, like this is where I'm gonna live, this place is huge, like this is where I
Oh,
go to the bathroom, this is
well,
my
folks, I
bowl.
gotta tell you, you should see what they've done for their dogs inside. It's like a little love haven in there for the dogs. It's so beautiful. It's
And
really sweet.
it was so funny watching like Nikita just stare at him like, no, no, Dad, he's got to learn the rules. We all went through the process. But and like the part where like melts your heart, just like you guys had mentioned, they'll all find their order and then their contribution to the pack.
Right.
The closest ones are he and Furiosa. So the biggest and the smallest are the closest. They have a very unique relationship. John Wick is very good with all of them. And the ones that we want to do because they were the easiest to kind of put together would be Nikita and Jon Snow. But I've watched them when they fall asleep. They one time fell asleep in like the shape, when you do your hands like a heart, both their nodes were touching, they fell asleep like that. That was like an indicator to us that Nikita, like once he won over Nikita, who was probably the most a little territorial in her space and all that, and
Uh-huh.
she let him kind of sleep nose to nose, then we knew that he was going to be good. But
Uh,
he is the it's so funny when they all walk together. He kind of gravitates right next to Furiosa every time. That's like his big sister. And I think probably because Furiosa thinks she's the same size as him,
yeah. They
still.
share a little bit of the same energy too. I think that, because he's pretty clear about what to, what he's destined to do. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
He's pretty clear that
Hmm.
way. And Furiosa is a lot like that in personality. She's very clear. She's gonna, hold the mark for you guys, right? Oh,
Yeah, they are all great. So like but this is the one, he's mama's boy. And you can see he's got the one ear up. We always kind of wonder if the other one's coming up. Jackie's like, I hope the other one doesn't come up. I like the fact that
I
he's
do too.
only
I have one
got
like that.
one ear,
Yeah.
So
one
cute.
ear up, right? It's just like it's his unique thing, and it's so funny. He'll stand around and he'd be looking and kind of surveying what he needs to do with just that one ear up. But that all of them got a unique personality. They all are great together, you know. And this dude is just like when you see him, people want to pick him up because he's the smallest, he's the most adorable, right? But
Yeah.
every one of them is so good looking. You know what I mean? And like
Yeah. They are
some days,
beautiful.
right? Jackie and I are like, what did we do? We went from like saying no dogs to now we have four. They're like, what did we were drunk and signed something, you know? But then it's like when we sleep, right? It's so funny. And it's like all of them rotate positions, but one of them has to have like their hand or their paw or their body next to me. So I'll go to sleep and Furiosa is like sleeping right next to my leg. John Wick's on a pillow, this, that, whatever. And I'll wake up in the middle of the night and they've all rotated positions and a different one sitting next to me. It's just like they know that I travel, so it's just like whose turn is it to watch him to make sure he doesn't leave,
Oh,
as they're going through this. But yeah,
yeah.
they all sleep in the bed, they all know their places, and they have a great time. And in the morning, they all eat together. It's yeah, they're a pack.
And
And
even when you walk them all together, how is that?
it's good initially, right? It's when they all come out there in a different portion, like it's just like an overwhelming, tidal wave of scent and smell. So they all want to go in a different direction, but
Uh,
they think they've all kind of figured this out. Like John Wick is a good lead. He's pretty calm, and I would say Nikita walks pretty well, and Furiosa is kind of followed in suit. Right, she was the
yeah.
one initially that was like, "Oh my goodness!" Right, and she get kind of a little bit of that bulldog in her, and it's just like, "I want to go see this. I want to go see this," and Jon Snow is really easy. I think the fact that he was just so young and he walks, now on a
Uh-huh.
leash and he just kind of follows them, right? And it's also on a hotter, right? Like we took them when they got spayed or neutered, and we took Furiosa at the time. And I will tell you, like Nikita and John Wick, they look so sad. They had no idea where she was for like, a good like, the entire day. They just sat around and it was like what happened? It was kind of funny because it was like you could tell there were days like, Nikita was a little like, frustrated with Furiosa because they were like over a toy or something. But when the
Uh-huh.
moment she was gone, that you could tell that they missed her and like their life was completely different. And then she came back and they were so happy. So happy. It's so funny to see them now because like if one of them goes, they're all standing by waiting. Like where did they go? What happened? Are
Uh-huh.
they okay? And I think that's the same way, right? When I leave and I come back and I always kind of like over exaggerate, right? I come in and they're all like standing at the top and they're all excited waiting. And I'm like, and yeah, they're kicked. So, you know,
Wonderful.
oh
I
yeah, yeah. He's not neutered yet. Jackie's like, he's not neutered yet.
Good, good, Jackie. Maybe you guys just think about holding off a little. Because I
Yeah.
would use him like that's a stud. Oh
Yeah.
my
So
God.
I mean, our testimony is, we always, or I personally was fond of having a dog in the house as a great companion. And really, I saw it as probably not appreciative until I had lost Charlie and saw all the memories of the times that my dog was there that I was not. And in the moment, I thought that that traumatic event was going to be something that we left with. That Jackie said, "Hey, if we did this again, I'd like to be able to take my dog." And Jackie was not the dog person in our family. Now Jackie is the dog person. It's like
Uh,
I mean, it's like I got to get this for the dogs, or I want to take the dogs here, or I got to. I mean, what are we
yeah,
getting now?
isn't it extraordinary how a Royal Frenchel, it's this difference that is so almost
Yeah,
unspeakable, but they're not doggy-like in a certain
that's
way.
right.
They are
That's right.
dogs and they're wonderful, just like a dog, but they don't have all the miserable parts that
Yeah,
humans have such difficulty with. They don't
yeah,
bark a lot, they don't chew your furniture,
yeah,
they make it easy to go places.
yeah.
And not just because of their size, it's this personality that's inherent in the breed. And when I have one that isn't like that, I place them outside of Royal Frenchel, because I'm always cleaning the lines. I call it cleaning the lines, but I don't know what another appropriate name is for it. But it's always paring down because I always put personality first,
Yeah,
and health. And looks come way later. It's like, it's really about personality.
Mm.
Because if we don't have a dog that we can live well with, um,
hmm,
it's just living hell for the time that you have them,
Mm.
and they're miserable.
yeah,
They can't be who they want to be when that happens.
Yeah.
So it's a really important part of my breeding program, to, really track what personalities are going to work and what don't.
yeah,
And
Yeah, I'd like to
yeah,
yeah.
say hearing you talk, John, and hearing Anahata share about that, the Royal Frenchels, it makes me think like when you're talking, all I can think of is like the mechanics of how dogs deliver joy and
That's
healing,
right.
right? Because
That's
it's like
right.
you're just constantly sharing about all this amazing stuff. You're like the happy dad, like
That's
you're
right.
so happy with your kids,
yeah,
right? And
Yeah.
so fun, but underneath that, it's like we're talking about like, oh, you made a joke like, oh, what did we sign something drunk? The
Yeah.
truth is,
Yeah.
yeah,
there are moments that you guys are sharing with these dogs that are
Yeah.
completely healing and vitalizing,
yeah,
and there
Yeah.
are small moments. And if you look at the mechanics of it, it's like, whether it's like I know the ones for me, like when my dog's with me in the middle of the day, I just stick my face in her. She licks me up. She looks at me. She gives me a hug, and I'm good to go, man. And I
Yeah.
don't, and that it's like with medicine, you take a pill, right? And you stick it in your mouth and you acknowledge I'm taking medicine and this
Yeah.
is going to help me feel better. But
Yeah.
when we interact with our dogs, we're not necessarily that conscious of that. But that's actually what's happening is you
Yeah.
literally receiving
yeah,
a dose of complete witness and love and affection and
yeah.
in a relationship that has been growing, that you've been feeding and constantly gets better and better. And I think
Yeah.
that's really that's what this whole conversation started with, right? And you're an
Yeah.
example of that. I just wanted to point it out
You
because
know,
and
Yeah.
you have specific moments that you are aware of that like you already said he comes and gives you a hug like I mean your
Yeah.
dog, I mean that's just
It
amazing. Those are
it's
cool to talk about.
yeah. It's funny, right? Because I'll tell you, you go to war, it changes you, it changes your family. And I'll be honest, right? There were some things I had to go through. I went and sought some help about how to,
good,
experience emotions in a healthy
good.
manner. My kids now, when they watch me with these dogs, they're like, that's a side I've never seen of my dad, like in 20 years, right?
Yeah.
How I am with them, and it's the same thing too, right? It's one, it's size, it's two, and the most important things is like they emotionally are connected to you. They just know. And sometimes it's you're not feeling great. You're just sitting there and they'll come over and sit right next to you and put their head on your lap or their paw on your lap. And you just know. And it's like them telling you like, hey, it's going to be okay, or I'm here.
Right.
and that's something like when you're going through this, like my wife knows, like even in my current job now that, it has me traveling a lot, I'll come back and I'll be like, she's like, what's going on? I'm like, there is a lot happening and I am so stressed. I said, I need like 30 minutes just to sit down. I'll sit down and I'll just be, watching TV, and one of them will come sit next to me. One of them will sit by my feet. The other one will kind of sit just on the same couch. And they're all just kind of, it's almost like putting up a little force field around me. They go, hey, just whenever you're ready, let me know.
Me
Right.
too, isn't it? Yep.
It
Yep.
is like a force field.
You know,
Totally.
a lot of people, I don't talk about this, I never really have, but I was diagnosed once with a particular type of cancer and I was given 6 weeks to live.
Mm,
And I responded by I locked my office door, walked into the woods, and came back 3 days later. And then, of course, I was on chemo and a bunch of things. But during that time, my blood kept changing. And what I did was I laid on my couch all day because when you're so low, you don't feel, like moving. And
mhm.
I laid on my couch all day and literally, I had dogs from head to toe. I'm not joking. They would lay on my side, on my other side, on my shoulders, on my head, above my head, on my legs, in between my legs, and at my feet. And I'm short, so when I lay on a couch, they could do that. And then the couch was up against a window, and I had dogs that would sit up on the back of the couch and stare out that window. And I felt always like I was just in the hands of some like
Mhm.
conglomerate angel or something. And I would go into these states, 8 hours would go like that because I was so exhausted. 8 hours would just go like in a minute. But I know that a great deal of that was somehow this state that happened between us all
Yeah.
where they were just guardians to me. And
Mhm.
very slowly, week by week, they kept taking my blood, and my blood got a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. And then they said, did we make a mistake with the diagnosis? And they went through all this stuff. And anyway, it took 3 years.
Wow.
My blood ended up changing for 3 years until here I am today. And this is 15 years later. And and I swear to God, the dogs had a massive hand in that with me. And it's one reason why I'm always supportive of anyone who has something to go through or a transition to meet in their body or in their world
Yeah.
that have a dog. It's just really, really a wonderful supplement. People take supplements for all these things.
Yeah.
And dogs are the greatest supplement on earth. They
Really
truly are. I mean,
Yeah.
scientifically, it's proven that
Yeah.
they are. Again,
Yeah.
anyone who wants the copy of a big body of research I've done,
Yeah.
because I have some of it in my book, The Way of the Dog, that's coming out. And I also have for the programs we're going to be doing in hospitals and in organizations for people, we're going to be putting dogs in those organizations. And they're phenomenal for us. Yeah.
I, I can't thank you guys enough. One, introducing us, to this breed, but just the story behind it, and then your thoughtfulness and of always. I mean, you created this breed, and you're and every litter that you have, you're spending the time to connect with the right people, and then you're helping deliver something that they need, that that they have a gap or something in their life, right? And if you'd have told me, well, number one is if anybody saw me and they would never agree or believe that I have little dogs, right? It would be like, no, there's no way he would ever have a little dog. And then the second thing, to know that I have four. Now it's like I'm that guy, right? That is like, hey, let me show you my dogs, and let me show you my dogs in their outfits, and let me show you what my dog does. And it's just like,
Oh my God.
people
Oh,
are
we
like, you
gotta show
you
you guys
become
a
that.
picture of this. Look at this picture.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Right here.
Arturo's got it here. Hold on 1 second. We're gonna show you pictures of him.
Stop. Here it is.
There we
Okay,
go.
hold on. Here we go.
These are
This
the
is for
kids.
everybody to see.
How can you do that?
Right here.
You've got it. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Look
All
at
right.
this picture,
All right,
folks.
here we go. There's the family.
Aren't they wonderful? Oh my God.
That was John dressed them up, actually.
Oh,
That's that's right. That's right.
so cute.
That's right.
And look,
I found all
Furiosa's
those
dress.
outfits
Furio,
overseas.
now you see Furiosa's real like gentleness in there, right?
Yeah.
She's just a
Oh,
lovely little lady.
their
That's
eyes.
right.
Sweet.
That's right.
And John. John
It's
Wick.
all those looks are like their personalities too. It's so
Yeah.
funny. It's
No,
so funny looking at them.
yeah. Well,
Oh,
listen, I'm just going to share your quote because I think your quote, John, is one of the most
we
powerful
always,
quotes that I've heard from a warrior and someone who protects our country. And John said, "No one will know the violence it took to become this gentle." And the gentleness he has now and meets his dogs with is a lesson I think for everybody, to find that in your life and use it. Take that supplement, that soul supplement. And we're so happy for you, John. We're so happy that
yeah.
we've gotten to meet you, and it's been an honor. And
Oh, love you so much.
so appreciate you coming and
Thank
joining.
you.
Yeah, thank you
And
so much.
give
No,
a big hug to Jackie, will you?
I will. I will. She's so sorry that she missed this. She just had cataract surgery.
Oh,
So, as she's healing and all this, she wanted to, she
right.
sends her love and thankfulness for everything. I just wanted to clarify that that's not my quote. That's actually was a quote that was handed to me by one of my therapists when I went to a treatment facility. As I was working through some things, they said, "Hey, I have something for you," and they handed it to me, and I every time, right, is if I'm somebody that has gone through what I've gone through, and a lot of times it left me short-sighted on what my family went through as well. If I'm somebody that said I would never be in this position and never thought the impactfulness and the powerfulness of having, a dog, let alone a Royal Frenchel, it all starts right when they come home. And John Wick does this and they all do this now. Like they just put their nose right to you. And my kids are
Yeah.
always asking, like, what are they doing? I said, he's imprinting on you. They're imprinting on you, right? They're looking right into your soul.
Right.
Um, and then they'll know, like they're letting you know, like they're gonna take care of you. And so, yeah, we love them to death, and we appreciate everything that you guys have done to us,
Oh,
and done for us. And we're very, very happy with where we are because you guys personally have done a lot in this part of our transition in our life. So thank you so much.
oh, thank you, John. Thank you so much for sharing your story. And listen, you're welcome to stay with us, or if you need to move on, that's fine. We're going to show some pups. And
I thought maybe Samantha, did you want
oh,
to share
Samantha,
anything?
excuse me.
You've been here listening, and I just thought maybe we'd give you a chance. I mean, you've been
Yeah.
here for what, 4 days now, John. She came here to learn, and she can speak about it, but she's been actually here for like 4 or 5 days. Seems like she's been here for like a month.
No, I mean, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just lovely to meet you, John, and I just really treasured hearing your whole story. I think it's awesome, and thank you for your service first and foremost. Um, and a couple standout parts of your story for me, at least, was thinking of you being in this position where I'm guessing you had to tell a lot of people what to do and train them, and then here are these dogs, and they came into your house and started schooling you and training you and saying, oh no, we are going to be on the couch, and actually we are going to share a bed with you, and they start training you in a very different way where they train you how to open your heart, and they train you how to allow them into your heart. And I think in doing that, one of the greatest gifts these dogs give is, then our heart is just forever open in a different way, where then we can let so much more in that, once we just kind of picked up instincts along the way to keep it all out. So, it's beautiful to hear for all the service that you have given, that you have now sort of received a different kind of service back from these dogs. And I really feel
Absolutely.
like
Really cool.
that is kind of the way the world works, that what we give out, it will always come back to us. We don't know when, and we can't really always expect how, but it comes back, and it's so beautiful to see it. So thank you so much for sharing your wonderful story and for being a good dad dog.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Well, we've got a little fella here. We won't show a bunch of them now with the time that we have, but this is oh my God, I just can't believe it. I just went blank on his name. Ernest.
Ernest
This is
Lee.
Ernest Lee. Yeah, there we go. Wow,
Oh, I got our
all of a
blank
sudden,
out.
hi, Ernest.
Mr.
You're
Ernest
good boy.
Lee.
Ernest Lee is the brother of my service dog
He's a
today.
boy.
He's just an absolute doll.
Mr.
A
Ernest.
wonderful boy. Super easy, funny, loves to play. Just a wonderful little fellow and gorgeous. He's I probably should have picked a prettier one for myself, but I love mine, little Baxter. Lisa, could you grab me Baxter? He's right in there. You can just put them down. They're
Here, let me
fine.
take Basil.
Yeah, and I'll show them Baxter real quick because you're
Hey.
going to see Baxter's siblings here. This is Basil. And here, I'm just going to hold him a
He's got
little
such a-
differently. Hey, Basil, what you doing? What you doing, Basil? Here, there you go. That's Basil. And he's a doll, sweet as can be. He's small, a little smaller than Ernest Lee. And this is Fanny. And Fanny is Riot. Oh my God.
That's
She's
hilarious.
a little tiny, tiny little thing
You see her,
and
Fanny?
funny. So much fun. Oh, we woke him up. No.
Here comes
Here you go.
Snugglepuss.
I'm gonna hand.
Here, you guys
This
get
is
the
my
dog.
boy who's a little snugglepuss. You saw Nobo earlier. Could I have him, sweetheart?
Come on.
Thank you.
Look at
This
it.
is
Look at
this
his
is
little
look at
face.
he's so sleepy. She woke him up to bring him over to me. This is my little boy Baxter.
Here, show his little face. His little sleepy face is worth a
Oh,
it's worth a minute
he's
to come a
such a
little
little
closer. Look at that little sleepy face.
Yes,
There's
baby.
nothing like that. Oh my God. You just want to kiss it and kiss it and kiss it.
Yeah, really. Of course, I just realized I'm doing that nonstop. Yeah, so these guys here, that's Fanny and Ernest Lee, and
Basil.
we've got Basil,
Basil
who is
is
walking
sweet.
behind me,
Yeah,
and this is little
sweet.
Baxter, and they're all brothers and sisters. And however, this guy is going to be my service dog, Baxter. So if you want a great service dog, if you want a dog that you can really relate to, that's super easy to train and you can take anywhere because they're not so big and that behaves well in public and is an absolute stellar friend, man, I would definitely consider one of these guys. They're just awesome. They're really awesome. Yeah. So I don't know, Samantha, I'm just wondering, it's been kind of hectic around here. When you got here, we had a dog that was, in labor and we were waiting for her to have her pups. And then she ended up having a C-section. How was your time so far? I haven't even gotten to ask you that.
Yeah, right here in person. We just wait to do it on the stream.
Yeah, it's so funny. We're in different rooms right now, but it's just been incredible, I've been wanting to come and visit for, let's see, I got Softly about 4 years ago. And even back then I didn't know why, I didn't know how, I didn't really know what the purpose was going to be. But it's been great, to be here and to see all of the love that gets poured into these dogs, and to see that they are top priority, before everything else. So, the one thing that I wasn't really, and I'm still learning, I said to you this morning, Anahata, that I'm learning so much, and there still seems like there's so much more to learn, which I know there is, but that's one of the joys of it. But to get to know the background of training that goes into these dogs, and I'm looking at these littles that are in your arms right now, and there's hours of training that go into just teaching these little people how to be good little people, how to fit into a family, how to connect to human beings and be confident and feel safe in the world. And I'm guessing that not many breeders can either do that. It's not in their protocols. It's not in their the time that they put in. I don't know for sure, but that was one of the main thing that's I'm just so impressed with, because it's, you know, my two dogs, it just shows in them, but it's something that I didn't consider. You know, I just thought, oh, I got two awesome dogs with phenomenal personalities, but there's time and there's love and there's attention, there's care that goes into that. And I know that you are very intentional about that. So
Yeah. You know, I think that the difference is we actually have a different mission. Most breeders are breeders and they grow dogs of a particular breed and they place the puppies. Our mission is to have great dogs for great people. That tagline of ours actually is a governing principle here. And to the best of our ability, which many times it feels like we're not holding up, but we certainly do a pretty good enough job that people really appreciate it. But we have the love bucket training, and that is a very specific training for little pups. They all get them 45 minutes to an hour a day, 6 days a week. And it's a very specific training that is meant to and designed to trigger the brain and permit it and expand it into human relationship in a very specific way. And the dogs are treated as individuals, not as a litter, which is very, very different. So our mission has to do with really bringing forward great citizens. So the citizens of Royal Frenchel are dogs, and they are meant to join the citizens of the world, and they're meant to fit in and to be able to join families and enter interspecies culture, right? This is a very different type of thinking in terms of the growth of Royal Frenchel. So I really appreciate what you're saying very much. Yeah.
Well, the one other thing I'll say is, you know, that's one of the main things because I'm so fascinated and interested in the emotional bond, the healing bond, the spiritual bond that we share with dogs. And again, how healing that is to our hearts and our souls, our whole being. And I'm starting to learn about the love bucketing. It's one of the things that I really wanted to hone in on learning while I was here. And I hear you talking about what that does for dogs, how beneficial it is. But I'm telling you, everybody on the planet should be doing daily love bucketing with the dog.
With people too.
No, I'm saying the people themselves, we should be, you know, it should be a demand that we should learn this in schools. We should be taught this, because it would be a different world if we did. The amount of discipline that I see some of the young folks that are here, which is, I think it's a great privilege for them to be able to learn this at their age. It takes a lot of discipline. It's not the same discipline that it takes to be on technology all day long.
That's right.
It's like a lost art of focusing and connecting.
Yep.
One living being to another. And so it's not just the dogs that are benefiting from this love bucketing. It's the humans that are on the other side of that. Because I'm guessing with all of those hours that are put in, if I was doing that every day, I would have to be disciplined in a different way. I would have to be more self-aware. There's just, I mean, I know we're at time.
And the love bucketers have to really commit, because once you engage with a pup at that level, you have a responsibility, because the puppy, the person, the little dog has opened its heart, and it can get crushed really easily and simply by suddenly treating it as though it's not important.
Right.
And so these guys who do the love bucketing, they get a lot of training personally around how it is that they are holding a heart in their hands. And once they engage with that, they cannot drop it. That is the birth of this dog's human relationships. And it needs to really be able and become free in that relationship and be able to sustain it and be able to rely on it and be able to enjoy it. So these youth that come in and do that, we have 5 people who do the love bucketing, and they have to really understand these principles. It isn't just coming in and, do this and get a treat at all by any means.
Yeah.
Really a depth of soul to soul and understanding that, we turn things on in the mechanics of our beings, our chemicals, our bodies, and our minds when we engage in relationship, and that we want to be responsible in that process. So
Well, it's funny to kind of bring it back to John, and the phrase that came to me was, "Who's love bucketing who?"
yeah,
Because these dogs have been, love bucketed, and for one of the things I was thinking about, to be able to teach somebody who's young, how to leave their outside stuff outside, to be
yep,
able to take something, if they're unhappy about something, if they're experiencing a problem or a difficulty in their life or in their day, and for that to give them the great ability to be able to set that aside, even if it's just for an hour, so that they can focus on something of value. And then, have that change of attitude is such a gift for them. But then I was thinking about John again, and how he would come in a difficult place for whatever stress he was dealing with, and his dogs would kind of love bucket him.
yep,
in a way.
yep. Very true.
Like,
Very
really,
true. I hadn't thought of it that way.
really see where he's at in this beautiful wordless communication. It's amazing.
It is.
Cool.
Samantha, we appreciate you so much. I really mean that. And jumping in like you did when you came, and still are doing, is awesome. Pretty awesome.
Yes.
And Samantha's going to be developing, working on the program with me, that I'm developing, and she will be a part of, and have a hand in, the very first that takes place. So that's going to be very exciting. The Royal Frenchel Noble Canine Guardians that will be entering organizations to do great work. And I'm really looking forward to that happening. I spent a lot of time in the last 24 hours. Wow. Most of the night last night, doing all kinds of stuff for it. So I look forward to sharing it. There'll be a page on the website within 2 weeks on it. So yeah. Well, listen, folks, we're overdue. We're 7 minutes past the hour. Much love to you. And we're going to get better at putting our thumbnails out about the show ahead of time with the subject, because, gosh, any of you who see this and did not see last week's show, please go back and watch it. We had Robin with us, who is a veterinarian, a colonel in the military, handled food, and you will learn a great deal about the state of food and what's important to your dog, no matter what breed. And please go listen to it. It's going to be an invaluable thing for you, I assure you. And thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see y'all soon. And